Hooray for Hollywood. You had me at hello. Oh, hello there. I am Stan the Movie Man, and this is my review of Disney Pixar's Onward. It stars the voices of Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Octavia Spencer, Mel Rodriguez, Kyle Bornheimer, and more. It is the story of a world both similar and completely different to our own. It is a world of magical creatures and wizards and elves and pixies and all the other kind of creatures that you thought you heard, never existed. On this world, they always existed, and they continue to. There are two brothers, Ian and Barley Lightfoot, played by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. They are just a couple of teenagers, and Barley is the older of the two. Ian has just turned 16. Now, he never met his father, Wilden Lightfoot, voiced by Kyle Bornheimer, because he fell ill and died before he was born. His mother, Laurel Lightfoot, voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, gives both boys a present when Ian turns 16. And that, as it turns out, is a magical wizard's staff. And included in that package that includes the wizard staff is a magical gem and a spell. It is a spell that will allow Wilden to come back to life for one full day. He planned ahead when he knew he was dying to have this staff, gem, and spell to give to his boys when they reached a certain age. And it would give him the opportunity to see how they grew up and the men they became. Barley tries to do the spell over and over and over again, and it just doesn't work. Nothing happens. Ian just starts to read it out loud after Barley's given up, and the staff and the gem both begin to glow. He grabs the staff, and starts the spell. Barley comes in when he hears all the commotion, and once he completes the spell, his father's body begins to coalesce from the magic, and it starts to become unsettled, and Barley grabs the staff, but that causes some sort of explosion that destroys the gem, and their father is there, sort of. It's just the lower half, from the belt down. He can't hear the boys, he can't talk to the boys, but because of some things from when Barley was a very young child, Wilden figures out that it's his boys. Barley, who is very much into this world's version of Dungeons and Dragons, which in his world is based on reality, decides that he and Ian and half of their dad are going on this magical quest to find another dragon stone. I believe that's what the gem is called, and complete the spell and have a little time to spend with their dad. But the quest will be dangerous, and there's going to be things that get in the way, including a bunch of a biker gang pixie, and a bunch of those, and also Laurel's boyfriend, a cop named Colt Bronco, voiced by Mel Rodriguez. The boys go to an inn, which is more like a Chuck E. Cheese now in this modern world, and they hook up with Corey, voiced by Octavia Spencer, who is a manticore, and she has a map that gets destroyed in a fire. Long story, but the boys go on this adventure not knowing how much danger they could be facing. Onward is not the most imaginative of the Pixar films. It follows a sort of obvious start to finish story about the boys go on a quest, and turns out Ian is the focus of this story because he's never met his dad. And the lessons that need to be learned from the quest are all Ian's lessons. He has the most to learn in this. And, you know, I won't give away what the ultimate story, what his ultimate lesson to learn is. That would give too much of the story away. But it's pretty obvious as the movie goes along. But the movie is spectacular looking, as always. It is a Pixar film. It is funny at times, and while I did not actually cry, my eyes got very, very wet a couple of times. Now there's another thing this movie does that I kind of don't like, but of course this is a fantasy film for children, so but that's also part of the reason why I don't like it. Bringing back a dead or missing parental figure, that simply doesn't happen in the real world. As an aside, one of my biggest problems with Star Trek Nemesis, the last feature film featuring the Next Generation crew, aside from the fact that it just wasn't very good, was they implied that a character that gets killed in the film is going to be replaced by a duplicate. I find that sort of shortcut from reality to be troubling, since death in this world, in this plane of existence, is an absolute. Whether we'll meet again on the other side is a question up for debate, but we know that in this world, death is the end, and having, even just for a moment, a father that you love come back in a healthy, undamaged by illness form, by magic, while it makes for a sweet story, it also sort of drove a dagger in my heart. So that's me. But I did enjoy Onward quite a bit. The father, the half of the father, has this stuffed bunch of clothes on top, so it looks like he's either drunk or dead from the waist up or whatever. He's got kind of a half mannequin on top of his half body, so that becomes a lot of fun. It is, a pretty basic Pixar movie that will make you cry, probably. Other than my issues with, the bringing parents back from the dead thing, I enjoyed Onward quite a bit. It isn't the most original of the Pixar movies, but you can forgive that considering how fun it is. The voice work from Tom Holland and Chris Pratt as the brothers, the sweet lesson learned, and so forth. So that's why I'm giving Onward 4 stars. Go to StanTheMovieMan.com to read my complete review of Onward. You can listen to the podcast I do with my wife. It is called Comedy, Tragedy, Marriage. It's a podcast about life, love, and entertainment. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Twitter @MovieManStan, and send emails to StanTheMovieMan123 @gmail.com. Until next time, later.